We are going to prove that God exists through a bumblebee. Yes, a bumblebee. In all my years, I have never, ever heard of this. And I bet $1. Let's put
A
a
dollar.
dollar that you guys have never heard of this either. Did you know that roughly 8% of the flowers,
All the flowers.
all the flowers, all the flowers?
All the flowers.
Okay, so all the flowers have their pollen so tightly, I don't know how you'd say it, wraps in the flower, right?
Yeah.
That the pollen is only released at a certain frequency, which is just amazing. Okay,
Yeah.
so the normal honeybee cannot create this frequency of a tone. So we're talking like a C note or a G note.
Right.
Create this frequency to release the pollen. Only the bumblebee creates a frequency, which is what? It's
a note C.
The note C,
Yeah.
that when he goes into the flower and his bzzz will create, did you like my little bzzz? Will create this frequency, and the flower releases its pollen.
It just like flutters out. And this is really fascinating because why wouldn't he let the flower release its pollen?
Right.
Except only for the bumblebee.
From the bumblebee, right.
You know? He's kind of quirky that way.
He's kind of like, it's like just when to me, it's almost like when you think you got God figured out. Or so, if you're a person that doesn't believe in God, you think you got God figured out. He's not that complex. And when you hear something like this, and to me, evolution, come on, let's be honest. Evolution, did it go from an A note to a B note to a C note? Then finally through evolution, it hits the right note to release this flower. There's two things involved. So is the bee that smart to know, okay, I got to buzz faster, or create a bigger frequency to release that? He goes up to the flower and he doesn't see that, oh, I'm not getting the pollen, so he beats faster. Come on, right? A bee is a bee. It just does its job.
Right.
That's just buzzes, right? And I've seen bees, they'll go into a flower and there's nothing there. You can tell. So they just boom, 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 boom. They don't go up to the flower and think about what frequency that I need to create to release this pollen, because this just looks like one of those flowers that's a bee frequency.
So I'm going to read to you what kind of flower this actually is.
Okay, yeah, let's give us some more. Let's go in depth in this.
This is a couple of
pretty
flowers.
Fascinating. Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
Keep talking over me. I will proceed anyways.
All right. Okay, go for it.
This is a book written by two scientists, by the way. And they've done extensive research on this. It's really interesting.
Okay, but really, these are smart people.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they're smart, but scientists are usually very factual.
Right.
They're really not like, oh, this is God. Right. They take a look at something and they do the facts, and then after, if they're honest with themselves, right, they present all the facts, like in Lee Strobel Case for Christ, and there's overwhelming evidence that there has to be a God
you gotta pick a side
that does this, right? It doesn't make sense that this just happens naturally.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so the Virginia Meadow Beauty is one of these flowers. It will not release its pollen unless buzzed by the bumblebee.
Buzzed.
A honeybee can crawl around the flower all day and never get any pollen. Only the correct buzzing sound releases the pollen.
That's just wild, isn't it?
I can imagine.
Yeah.
In America, bumblebees are required for proper tomato flower pollination.
Okay.
These bumblebees make a buzzing sound at exactly middle C.
It's just, to me,
C.
It's middle C.
Yeah.
It's not like high C or a low C. Yeah. Neither am I, but middle C. So it's like, when you find with God the perfect frequency.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. So no other frequencies causes the pollen to be released from the tomato flower. Honeybees work in silence, therefore no pollen is released from them. So Dr. Sarah Smith Greenleaf demonstrated this process with a tuning fork.
Oh, that's
That's
a
why she
good
figured
idea.
it out.
Right. Okay.
And so when she struck a middle C and placed the tuning fork near the tomato flower, a cloud of yellow pollen appeared.
Wow.
Only bumblebees buzz at the correct frequency to unlock the pollen.
Wow. So we would like to know what you guys, whether, hey, we accept everybody, right? So whether you're an atheist, agnostic, you don't believe in God, we would like to know what you think about this. And yes, even you Christians, we would like to know what you think about this. Leave your comments below and let us know.
Yeah. All right.
I'm pointing to Kim because it's like, okay, that's your clue to give the final closeout.
It's kind of a fun little short video.
It is.
You know, it's so fascinating to, we go out and we see God's creation every day.
Oh, yeah.
And we really take it for granted.
Yeah, you do.
And there's so many things like this that are under wraps that, as old as we are, we've never even heard about things like this.
Yeah.
So fascinating what God has done to say hello.
I think there's so many things that we also take for granted. If you really start researching like how the earth is placed perfectly, it's at a perfect angle, we're at the perfect oxygen level. Everything is perfect. And, if we move closer or farther away from the sun, we either burn up or we freeze to death. Yeah. And I think there's so many things you look out there and you say, it's really beautiful, but
what are you missing?
Well, yeah, that beauty is perfect.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And God made it perfect.
Perfect. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
So we're gonna start digging up some of those fun little fascinating facts. There's a lot of them.
We have a lot of really cool
that really point to God.
I keep interrupting her.
I know. I just keep talking because
Sorry,
shut up at some point.
Gosh. Okay.
Anyways, we hope you guys have fun and we will see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.